Good afternoon. On the national news this hour from BGI Television. First, the headlines. FG states legally empowered to control prices of commodities, services, Falano. FG blames opposition for food crisis, uncovers 32 smuggling routes. Stop using my name to extort Nigerians, IGP warns officers. Air Force nabbs 35-year-old kidnapper in Kanu. Nursing student kills self over school's failed accreditation. On sports, I am a Nigerian. Man City star defender. Why he has Super Eagles logo tattooed on his arm. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. The news in detail. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana maintains that the federal government and state are empowered by several laws to control the prices of goods and services. Falana spoke on the heels of the rising cost of food items in the country and the increasing inflation rate. In a Tuesday statement, the legal practitioner faulted those who claim that since Nigeria is a capitalist country, the government cannot regulate prices of goods and services. Notwithstanding that Nigeria operates a so-called free market economy, several laws have imposed a duty on the federal government and state government to regulate the prices of goods, fuel, tickets for train and domestic air travels, school fees paid in government colleges and tuition in tertiary institutions, water rate, electricity tariffs, telecom call rate, tolling fees paid by road users, land use charge, fees for land documentation, rents paid by tenants, and wages paid to workers. The federal government has blamed opposition element for the food crisis currently ravaging the country. This came as the government disclosed it had uncovered fresh 32 smuggling routes being used to take food items out of the country. The federal government, however, described the current economic challenges as the handwork of forces that are hell-bent on plugging this country into a state of anarchy. It blamed those who failed to clinch power in the last election for remaining in political mode and are now working against the country's interest. Speaking on Tuesday in Abuja during the inaugural Public Wealth Management Conference organized by the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said forces are hell-bent on plugging this country into a state of anarchy. Those who could not get into power through the ballot box instead of them to wait till 2027, they are so desperate. If this country can fall apart, as far as they are concerned, so be it. We are going to resist them. Since assuming office 9 months ago, the Tinubu administration said it had removed long-standing subsidies on petrol to save the government monies for infrastructural expansion. However, report by the International Monetary Fund said the government had secretly reintroduced subsidies to stem an uncontrollable rise in cost of living. As part of effort to maintain the highest standard of integrity within the Nigeria Police Force, the Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Egbetokun has issued a stern warning condemning all forms of extortion and name-dropping for nefarious activities. In a statement, the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the IGP expressed deep concern over the acts, emphasizing that such actions tarnish the reputation of his person and the police force entirely, thereby eroding public trust. The IGP noted that any officer found guilty of leveraging his name for fraudulent activities or extortion will face severe disciplinary measures, as he urged officers to uphold transparency and professionalism. The IGP encouraged members of the public to exercise caution and report any attempt to exploit his name for fraudulent activities or extortion, most especially in the investigation of cases. Moving to the far northwest, troops of the Nigerian Air Force deployed to Dobinde Intakai local government area of Kano State have apprehended a 35-year-old high-profile kidnapper popularly known as Isa Abdul. Abdul was arrested on Monday, February 19 at about 6:30 p.m. in a well-coordinated operation in Takai, following credible intelligence on the hideout of the nefarious kidnapper and his boys, who were responsible for several kidnappings in the area. Information led the preliminary investigation by the security agencies established that Isa Abdul and his gang were responsible for the abduction of one Yakubu Ibrahim Tagohu, popularly known as Serkin Noma Gaya, on April 6, 2023, from his residence in Tagao village in Takai, local government area of Kano. According to a press statement made available to correspondent by Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigeria Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gawat, the victim was said to have been released a month later after paying 30 million naira. To the southwest, a 300-level students of a private tertiary institution in Ogun State, Harvard College of Science, Business and Management Studies, simply identified as Ajoke, has reportedly taken alive after the school allegedly failed to meet up with the accreditation requirement of the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Information gathered that the deceased student had on Monday evening consumed insecticide and slumped on her way to her boyfriend's house. It was learned that the institution's failure to secure accreditation of the NMCN for its nursing courses frustrated the 300-level student of basic medical science to take alive. Moving on to Central. The Benue State Security Council has issued a 14-day ultimatum to all those engaged in open grazing in the state to desist. The council has also ordered all armed herdsmen in the state to live in their own interest. This was contained in the resolution of the council at the end of its meeting held in Makurdi and presided over by Governor Aicent Aliyah, which had in attendance heads of military and paramilitary formation in the state, traditional and religious leaders, as well as top government functionaries that are members of the council. Reading the resolution, which was signed by Governor Aliyah, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Tasso Kula, pointed out that the resolutions were reached to be implemented to ensure peace in the state. The council cautioned that the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law of 2017 was still in force and should be respected by all. From Benue to the Far East, Anambra. A midnight fire outbreak has raised no fewer than 4 shops in the Unko Market, Umunze, in Orumba, South Local Government Area of Anambra State. Eyewitnesses said the fire was ignited by suspected power surge and raged for several hours before the arrival of the men of the State Fire Service who battled to control it. When correspondents visited the scene, affected traders were seen gathering their remnants of their burnt properties. Although no life was lost during the fire incident, goods and properties were destroyed in the affected shops, which were mainly provision shops, plastic and attachment shops. The inferno follows the 2 fire incidents recorded on Friday at a residential building at Rockland Estate, Oka, and at a telecommunication mast in Agu, Oka. Moving on to the last story, sports. Following the viral picture of Manchester City defender Manuel Akanji showing a tattoo of the logo of the senior national team of Nigeria on his arm, information gathered that the idea on why the 27-year-old did this, Akanji was born in Neftenbach, Switzerland, to a Swiss mother and a Nigerian father, making him eligible for both countries. But at the age of 23, he was handed his senior debut for the country of his birth, making the step up from the various youth level teams he played for. However, he still hasn't forgotten his roots and proudly celebrated with a Nigerian flag around his waist when City won the UEFA Champions League for the first time in their history last season. He played the entire duration of the team's 1-0 win over Inter Milan in the summer. He started the move that led to the only goal of the game scored by Rodri. So far, he has been one of the bargain signings of the Etihad outfit. The full-fledged Switzerland senior international with 49 caps, the 27-year-old showed he hasn't forgotten his Nigerian roots when he picked up a Nigerian flag thrown at him from the crowd in Istanbul while celebrating his team's win. Reacting to a comment on the social media page after the final, he replied to someone who asked why he has a Nigerian flag around his waist by saying, "I feel so Nigerian." That probably also explains why he has a logo of the Super Eagles tattooed to his arm. With our sports story, we've come to the end of today's national news. Before we go, some headlines. FG states legally empowered to control prices of commodities, services, Femi Falana. FG blames opposition for food crisis, uncovers 32 smuggling growth. Stop using my name to extort Nigerians, IGP warns officers. Air Force nabs 35-year-old kidnapper in Kano. Nursing student kills self over school's failed accreditation. On sports, I am a Nigerian. Manchester City star defender defends why he has Super Eagles logo tattooed to his arm. For update of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Baba Bagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. Nigeria will be great again. Let's believe. My name is Moriri Rebila Lawal.
Audio Jungle.